Rock and roll. Why are you doing that face?
Oh, why not? Gotta hook them at the beginning.
Okay. Hello and welcome
Gotta
to.
duck face it like in 2016.
Oh, like a. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
We just renamed our podcast Business and Babies. We felt like that was a more holistic view into the content that you are consuming here, where we're talking about the lessons we've learned as business owners and the lessons we're learning as parents, and how oftentimes they're the same from parenting and business ownership.
yeah.
And
There's some severe parallelisms.
the overlap is large, and really just a documentation of what our journey has been. So
Yeah,
today is it's really an exciting time, a reflective period for us. We're about to go into September 2026, and September has been a really big month for us the past 2 years in business ownership. So September of 24 is when we started, and it was a very abrupt start. Um, it was reflecting back on that time, like we didn't know what the hell we were getting into.
yeah. Very no planning.
We we
I was gonna say
launched
very
our
little planning, but we had no planning.
very no planning. You're right. We It was a Monday. That was your last day at that electrical contractor company that you were working for, and
Yep.
Gabe called me on his drive home. He was getting driven home from a coworker because he had
I
a
called
work
you
truck.
in the morning before, but in any case,
Anywho,
I called her that day.
you called me and said, looks like we're starting our company. And so that Tuesday we launched our website. That Wednesday we bought a work van. That Thursday we got our t-shirts.
Well, on her tackle.
I think Friday is when we officially got our Texas electrical contractor's
It was
license.
Thursday
It was Thursday
because
apparently.
we ran our first call Friday.
And then that Saturday was our first day networking. I mean, we just like went full throttle, and it's been really kind of exciting to think back to that moment of us starting, specifically because we just had dinner with a friend of ours this past weekend who is right in that starting process of beginning his electrical contracting career on his own, and so he's right now just got his master's. He's getting his formulating his LLC. He and his wife are talking through like, I need a good banker, I need a good lawyer, I need a good CPA, all of those like early resources. And it's been interesting because like where we are now as business owners, like I have all those answers. And it was an interesting moment. I don't know for you, but like we were sitting there and we're having this dinner, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't like take a moment to realize like I know the answers to this shit. Like I know how to navigate this, and I can give you advice because I'm 2 years ahead.
Yeah.
But then it was interesting too because I was like, man, I was not asking those questions when we started our business. I didn't know I needed a CPA and a registered agent to help you formulate your LLC.
You don't need a registered agent.
Well, that's
You
the
can
path.
do it yourself.
That's the path they're going.
Yeah.
But like, I literally was like, we've got a website, we've got T-shirts, we got a phone number,
Let's sell shit.
we got a business, baby.
Yeah. Well, realistically, yeah, LLC
We had that
phone
LLC.
number. Yeah. Like the important part is an LLC and a bank account. As long as you got those two things, then you know how to sell shit. You have a business. It may not be a great business, and it may not stay around for a while, but you have a business.
And it was a really interesting, just reflective moment to be in this dinner and thinking through like where we started and how far we've come.
Yeah. Well, and also the skill gap that exists for a lot of people entering in.
Yeah.
Because like one of the things that I'm really fortunate or happy with, or however you want to say, but my experience in the service realm of knowing how to sell and like being able to confidently say like, hey, that's going to be a $15,000 job, right? Like straight face, let's do this, right? Because I do this a lot and I have for years, and like being able to like reasonably and confidently say that is like insane how far ahead that put me on the curve. Because I know a lot of guys who like start their own company and have to learn how to sell stuff, and so they're working for free for years. trying to figure out how to do the sales shit, and like they make enough money to stay alive, but they don't make money, they don't build or grow or have the available bandwidth to scale, and so they're just kind of stuck in that. And that was part of what we were talking about too. So like realistically, what this podcast is going to be is the things we wish we had done to lay the groundwork, but also the things that we're really happy we did
Yeah,
to build
before
the
starting the
skills before
business.
we started it. And
Yep.
then like the stuff that we've learned throughout. So like the things that you should do in your first like 2 weeks, maybe a month, to really solidify yourself into this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then the stuff that like you can pass on and it probably wasn't worthwhile. Like it, not that it can't be worthwhile, but it cost us way more than it made us. And like unless you built that skill,
Yeah.
don't try it yet because it's really expensive. And when you're starting out, like all of that money matters.
So I think at the beginning, establishing yourself as an LLC is a must
Yeah.
because that separates your personal liability life from whatever liability you're about to create within the business. And especially as an electrical contracting company, you want to make sure that those are very separate.
But
Uh,
also, as you're doing that, signing like managing member, right? So when I sign for paperwork on Supersun stuff, I sign Gabe Lensing managing member, uh, because that separates that. Because if you don't do that and you just sign your name, that pierces the corporate veil, and the whole LLC and the reason you have it is gone.
yeah, yeah. So LLC or you whatever you decide to file as, you speak to
Yeah,
a tax representative on
whatever
like whatever
corporation, but
the
like
corporation makes best sense for you, but you're making sure that there is a separation there. I think that was something we did that is highly recommended.
yeah, not
Um,
even like highly recommended, but required.
yeah,
Like the reason you want that LLC in place, and our lawyer describes it as boxes, right? So you want a box for you and you want a box for your business. And if you have more than one business, a box for all of them. And everything for that stays in that box. Because if it doesn't stay in that box and you start to mix and mingle, then if and when some shit goes terribly wrong, they can mix and mingle all of it too. And now, even though like you've done almost everything perfect, but you mixed a little bit too much here and there, or you mixed it at all here and there, right? Like you mess up, you hit somebody with your van, or somebody crashes into you, or whatever, and they sue the ever living shit out of you for the business, and you're like, fine, fuck it, you can have the business. It doesn't have that much. I put it all in my personal, but you didn't do the paperwork right. Now they can come after your house and your car and everything personally too.
yeah. So with that, that means a business bank account. Now, what we did at the beginning is I found an online banking. I think it was called like Blue Vine
Yeah,
or
don't do them.
something.
They suck.
And it was like a really high interest rate. I said, "This is awesome," because I just need a place to put money, and it's in Super Sun's name, so it doesn't matter what type of banking it is. That one, I wish we had done more research.
Yeah,
There's a lot of value in creating an established relationship with a local banker. We now bank with Comerica Bank, which they're soon to be Fifth Third, and we bank with Third Coast Bank. And I know both of my bankers. I have them on my phone. I can call them up. And establishing those relationships at the front end really helps you through like we had a check that would be on hold for like 30 days and there's nobody I could get a hold of. That was a pain in the butt. We
not
got
being able to
logged out of
log
our
in,
account several times and there
so
was
we couldn't
nobody.
access our money.
Yeah, there was nobody I could get a hold of, and that
So
was.
really, the only benefit to the account was an interest rate. And realistically, like when you're first starting out, the chances that that extra 3 or 4% matters in any way, shape, or form is so little
Yeah,
that like you need access to the money way more than what you need the
the interest
the
rate.
interest rate, because you're going to earn like maybe $2,000 a year. It's not a substantial amount of money in the grand scheme of things, and you being locked out is going to cost you five.
Well, and then our another lesson we'd learned, we started with that Blue Vine account and realized quickly that that online banking was not serving us. And so then we moved to Chase, which is big business banking, but I didn't have a single representative there. So I still didn't have somebody to ask my questions. And then we got to a point in the business where we wanted to be able to lean on a line of credit, be able to work with our bank to get uh, more money in the door.
Yeah,
And
well, just access
because of
your money.
Chase, because of the size of our account to the size that Chase is operating, like we didn't have an established relationship. We couldn't.
Well, and
they wanted to
you're
have
not
a
gonna
conversation.
establish a relationship, and our account isn't big enough so they genuinely don't give a shit.
Yeah. So they
Like
were like,
we're
if you
not
don't
even a
host
blip on
hundreds
the
of thousands
radar.
of dollars with us, we're not interested in doing a line of credit. At least that was the conversation that we had. What was that? Probably about a year ago,
Yeah, well, in all
with
fairness, we
Chase.
were also hemorrhaging money, so I wouldn't have given us money either.
Yeah.
Um,
But I wish we had started an established banking relationship with a
yeah,
local banker at the very front end, because then if we
yeah.
had a full year of
Hey,
transactions.
we don't need this podcast to be 2 hours long. Why don't we give the abbreviated version of the lessons? Establish a relationship with a local banker. That's the important part here. What was the next step you had?
Well, I don't know, because you ruined my train of thought. Oh, stop.
I'm putting the tracks back.
Oh my gosh.
Keep the
Um,
parallel tracks.
Stop that.
It just boop, and the train can keep
we
running. You can
we
just
hosted our own website.
yeah,
I do think that is a win.
yeah,
Um,
100%.
it wasn't sexy at the beginning, but it was there.
Which
And
realistically, like the technology to make it sexy didn't exist, but the thousands of dollars it would have cost to make it sexy was not worth it.
no, but
Now
we
you can
made a
use
website.
technology.
We made a website, so I highly recommend having a website.
Yes.
And but then we made it ourselves because that was what we could afford. Now we just um, for a little while we outsourced our website. We actually just brought it back in. We just rebuilt it with Claude AI, and now it's super sexy. And we still host it. So there's a lot of really cool resources out today.
Yeah.
But website hosting, I would say do that yourself.
Yeah. Don't hire agencies unless you can very clearly get them to agree to basically teach you how to do it and then fuck off. And
That
if
was
you can't do that, it's Hormozy's idea. Like most of this stuff's Hormozy's idea, because the dude's a fucking G. Uh, like absolute. I genuinely believe that he is the smartest entrepreneur in our generation. Um, like hands down, he's winner. But uh, his whole mentality around it, and the more that I played with it, the more that he's absolutely right. Is either don't hire agencies and just learn it yourself, or if you've got the capital to do it, hire an agency with the very clear instructions of I'm going to be replacing you as fast as humanly possible. So you're going to teach me the skills required to take you out of my payroll.
yeah,
And if they don't agree to that, find somebody who will, or like
just
just
learn.
learn the skill. Go on YouTube or pull up anything and be like, hey, teach me how to do this.
So on the when we were working in the very beginning of the business, I think reading contracts was something we were horseshit at,
Yeah, get a
and
good lawyer to just redo your
we
contracts.
got into some really bad negotiations because we didn't read the contract and we just signed, and the cancellation terms were like stupid expensive. We're 2 years in, we're still paying off some of our cancellations like that we did a while ago. It,
Well, that's a whole nother lesson.
but
For who? Yeah, next deeper
yeah,
right?
but anyways,
That
so like
was
reading the
much less read the
contract
contract and much
is,
less don't just give your employees complete autonomy without vetting them.
yeah, that's a different lesson. But I'm
That's what I was saying.
focusing on I'm thinking also about the bad contract we got into
The
with
van.
our van.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So read the contract and like trust your gut. If you think the place is sketchy as shit, it probably is, and leave.
That was something we
But
did that I wish we hadn't. We bought a service van like right off the bat, and I think it would have made a lot more sense for like if you have a vehicle at home to use, like use that
yeah,
vehicle
but
before
we
you go and
didn't.
buy another service van. Well, and something else
The
that
reason we bought the service van is because we only had one vehicle.
yes,
Okay. Yeah. So like, keep your overhead tight as shit. If you need the van, get the van. But there's also something to be said about efficiency, right? Like if you can get the van and stock the van, do that
if
because it's
you
way more efficient than trying to like make your way through on a pickup truck.
yeah.
And a lot more secure.
um I was going to say the AIM system, if you're opening an electrical contracting company or any company of that regard, you know, we leaned on our supply houses and they were able to stock our van without us having to pay on the front end.
Yeah, just
Um,
find a consignment deal, right? Because like most of the time, what they want is more warehouse space, And what you want is not to okay, like what you should want is to not have to pay for the material until you use it, right? So what we manage is a cash gap. Most contractors and most service companies like buy the material up front and then you get paid in 90 days and your supply house wants to get paid in 30 days, and so you have 60 days where you owe them money but you didn't get paid and you have to float that. Or you talk to them and you say, hey dude, I'm going to pay you as soon as I like buy this off of my van. You get more warehouse space so you can have more inventory and you manage that cash gap that way. And so that's something that's worked really well for us is we flip that and we get paid before they get paid. Like we get paid and then it takes 30 to 60 days before we have to pay them. And so we get to maintain that cash, which means we get to buy more jobs and like extra material and stuff and like build that cash gap.
Yeah.
Um,
So that consignment was really
yeah,
helpful in their front, the very like starting the business. Um, we also got softwares at the very beginning of the business. We
yeah,
got our QuickBooks Online, so an accounting software, and then we got our CRM. We're using Sarah, and having all of your data managed within a software makes it to where though that third party is responsible for the security of that information, which is I don't know how to protect information. Um, and so leaning on those softwares to securely maintain client information, card information, etc. That was really important. But it also gives you there's a lot of like data and insight inherent to those platforms, something we had access to, but we didn't utilize. That's something I wish we'd done differently is stay on top of like setting a regular cadence of reviewing our reports. And so like we had all this data available to us, but we
yeah.
weren't
We weren't using
using
it.
it for anything.
But also, there's a certain level of like, just go sell shit that exists, right? Like you can optimize everything, and that's what that data is for, is to optimize the company better. But there's a certain level of like, you just sell shit and install it in a really high level, like your business is going to stick around. Right? If you're not fucking somebody over, if you're selling stuff for more than it costs you to put in, right, your business is going to be around. It may not be as profitable as what you'd like to be, but your business is going to be around, right? And when I say sell it for more than it costs you, I don't mean that you bought a receptacle for $3 and you sell it for $6. Probably not going to work, right? It's what that receptacle costs plus the gas and insurance and overhead and all of the other expenses that exist in your business, your mortgage, if you're officing out of the house, like all of that goes into it because all of those are expenses. And so you should be pretty close to market, like prices, even if you're still a small shop. That's one of the things that I really love that we did
Yeah.
is charge what the big companies are charging, right? Even if you want to take 10% off so that you're competitive underneath them, like charge what they're charging
Because that's the
because
going rate.
they get to sell it. That means people buy it at that rate. It's not just because they've got some magical system. It's not, and it's something. It's legitimately the same system that I'm going to teach our technicians, and actually the guy that we met with, I'm going to basically teach him how to sell because they can sell it for that, and so there's no reason that you can't. You just get to make a shit ton more money, like a shit ton. Also, bribe your supply house.
Yeah, that's something we did in the front end.
Donuts, coffee, little treats. I mean, when you go in to the supply house and like your counter sales rep is like, bro, I'm fucking dying. I'm hungover. Like, I partied a little bit too hardy this weekend. And like, you can see that he's suffering. Like, go buy him a fucking gas station burrito and a body armor or a Gatorade or whatever, right? Get him something to be like, bro, I got you, right? Like, this is a relationship. We're here together. Because that guy dictates whether or not your jobs are on time, your jobs are pretty profitable. Like, the material is one of the biggest expenses in your business. It's also one of the biggest variables. Because I've gone through and like built that relationship, and I say bribe them, but like I built that relationship by taking care of them, I have gotten so many, like such better pricing on material than what I realistically should have gotten on the
The
tiered
size of
system
our account.
with
Yeah.
the size of the account. Now I'm sure that the big box stores are still getting way better pricing than I am. But here's the thing, they're getting way better pricing and they're still selling it for more than we are, which means they make even more money. But like go through and build that relationship, right? And then like be loyal to the one supply house as much as possible. Everybody's like, just shop around, find the cheapest price, blah blah blah. Like you're gonna get the cheapest price if you just build a relationship. right? It's going to suck a little bit more up front, but by the end of it, like they are going to be ridiculously loyal to you.
Well, and our sales rep at our supply house has helped us with. We wanted some different products to be able to show off at different trade shows and stuff like that,
Yep.
and she's been able to get us like these products for free off the shelf for us to use as a display. Like,
Yep.
and we've also talked about like going in together and having like our supply house sponsor us to be able to present at like different events and stuff like that. So like it's a two-way street. If you support them, then they support you.
Yep.
And to your point, if you build that relationship with one supply house and you maintain that loyalty, then they're gonna stay loyal and
Yeah. Now there's a
helpful
certain
to
level
you.
of like, yeah, you're not going to be able to get square D breakers at Elliott because they don't sell them, and Schneider and Eaton have a big feud, and they are not allowed to keep them together, right? Like, okay, you need multiple supply houses, but have your one main supply house that you get most of your EMT from and your fittings and like all of the little nitpicky stuff that realistically doesn't make too big of a difference where it comes from or what the supplier is, right? It's all the same shit. It's all rated the same. It doesn't wear out. Like it is what it is, right? And like get all of that from the same spot because first of all, again, like every single supply house has a tiered system. The more you spend with them, the better your rates are, and so you get that already, but also having that relationship, like they're going to help you with it. So like build a relationship with your supply house, um, but know how to sell. So like before we started, one of the things that I knew how to do and really happy that I did, like I was trained on how to do it, is knowing how to sell stuff,
Yeah.
right? Because if you don't know how to sell stuff, you can have 300 leads a month that you can never keep up with. You can have the best prices in the world. You can be the most competitive with the greatest offer ever, right? And if you don't know how to actually make it work, you don't have the confidence to show up and tell somebody it's going to cost you money to make this happen, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like it is so important to know how to do that, and then like making it more expensive than what you think it should be, right? And like not buying out of your own pocket is so important. So if you don't know how to sell, I cannot stress it enough. Go through and read every single sales book you can find, do courses. Like there's so many videos on how to sell stuff. And I'm not talking about like the fucking like dude bros who are yelling at you or like fuck your objections, blah blah blah. That's stupid. You just gotta do it harder. You just gotta do it more. Like those guys are a piece of shit. Genuinely.
No, but
And like
selling
selling is
with
not,
integrity is
yeah,
an art, and
it's not
learn
even an
it.
art. Like selling with integrity is just you're not a piece of shit human and you have the best interest of that person in your heart. Like that's all it is. It's not an art form. It's just being human and compassionate. Right? Your goal is not to show up and fuck them out of everything that they have. Your goal is to make their life better by giving the best solution possible and then charging what you're worth for it.
Yeah.
Right? And you get to set that dollar amount and they get to decide whether or not that's worth it for them. But like everybody makes sales sound like this like dirty used car salesman who's just like gonna put you into some piece of shit so that he can get his commission. And I'm not saying that those guys don't exist. I'm really not. And like there's definitely some of those dude bros online, and unfortunately they're the most prevalent guys out there. I'm not saying that they're not making money. They're definitely selling shit. I also think that realistically they're kind of a piece of shit. Um, but like your job is to help them better their life. That is what your job is. That is what sales does. Is finding a way to better their life. And money is just a figment of everybody's imagination backed by confidence. Like that's all it is. And so knowing how to portray that is very, very important. And we'll record. I plan on like recording the sales lessons that I'm doing for our guys because first of all, it makes my company more scalable, and second of all, I think way more blue collar guys could use this.
Yeah.
Like I really genuinely do. And I don't care if homeowners know this is how they're selling to you. Like it doesn't matter because it's going to work. Also, Alex Hermosi has posted like every single one of the closer stuff that he has, like the framework that he has and how to sell shit online. And if you go talk to anybody who's not an entrepreneur, they have no idea who the fuck he is. And the guy made literally $100 million in 72 hours, $106 million in 72 hours, right? More money than we're gonna see it, but more money than most everybody will see in their entire life, and he did it in 72 hours selling a fucking book. And he did it without using the word sell or buy.
Yeah.
So, if you want to know about sales, go watch his shit because it's impressive. Most of it starts with the offer.
I'm
But
trying to think through other things with starting the
um,
company that we did.
as an electrician, get Eaton certified.
Oh yeah.
Eaton contract or certified contractor network is the best $500 you will ever spend in your life. So when we signed up for it, we thought that we spend $500 a year, we get $1,500 in marketing and then support and get a nice badge and blah blah blah. Super sick, right? Way cooler than that. Like significantly more awesome. You spend $500 one time, and then you get $1,500 a year to go to marketing, t-shirts, whatever, right? So not this t-shirt, but we just got a whole set of t-shirts and hats and like hoodies and all sorts of shit for free. They paid for it all. We spent $500 one time in our first year. They paid for it all. Also, on that $500, we went and got certified at like a super fancy hotel up in Dallas on Eaton products. They paid for the hotel room, the drinks before, the drinks the day of, the drinks the night after, all of the food. Right? It is insane.
We were pampered.
Like
And
ridiculously
then
pampered.
whenever they
And I
have
use their products anyway
more events, we can send new employees to those
for free.
trainings.
I don't have to pay again, and I can send an unlimited number of people to these events.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
But more importantly, when we bought our van, the first van that we bought because we were like, our other van took a shit. Score one for don't buy the piece of shit. Just go lease the other one. It looks daunting at first. The amount of money you're going to spend is very little compared to repairs. So go lease a brand new van. It's going to be sexy and new. Like, if you need to get a van, go lease one.
Yeah.
The cash flow wise makes way more sense. If you've got a truck or something personal that you can use that's still in good shape, slap a magnet on that bitch and send it. Right? It's going to work good enough to start. As you start to build, depending on whether you want to be luxury or not, you should want to be luxury. You can charge more if you do that. But that'll dictate things. That's a decision you can make. And if you have questions, feel free to ask us. I'm going to err on the side of boutique luxury. You serve less people, but you make more money. But in either case, went and bought the first van, got whatever rate we got, signed personally on our stuff, and woohoo, we got a van. We went and got it wrapped. Then, as we hired a second employee, we need another van. We got in touch with their commercial fleet side, which with Ford, you need to fleet. Like one vehicle can count as a fleet, which is awesome. But with being an Eaton certified contractor, we get Eaton's rates on these. So every Eaton certified contractor that goes and buys a vehicle gets a rate, and it all goes together. And it's the same thing as volume pricing, right? Yeah. And so we got a better rate on the van with better deals and cooler shit for less money because we're an Eaton certified contractor. So that's making us even more money back into our pocket by spending $500. So I cannot recommend it enough. Become an Eaton certified contractor. I think like once every few years you have to go get certified in the fact that like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. They send you through the course, you get pampered and catered to, and it's awesome.
I think reflecting back on when we were starting the company,
the time that we started, yeah.
Well, no, I was gonna say the biggest thing that we had going for us was just like unbridled confidence.
Yeah.
And I think that is really important.
That's what it takes to start.
Is just like a never ending belief in yourself and being able to shut out the people who are telling you it's a bad idea, because a lot of people will tell you it is a bad idea.
And they're right at first.
So most people say, why are you quitting a nice job to go on this pipe dream? What about security? What about, everyone has fears when it comes to, you quitting your job and starting an entrepreneurial journey, and all of those get highlighted by, if you decide to make that move for you, pretty much everyone in your life will tell you why they don't think it's a good idea. And so that was something we had in our pocket, was just this like unbridled confidence of like, we've got this and it's gonna work because we're gonna fucking make it work. And we were able to sort of shut out, or at least like preserve those comments and put it in a nice little box and say like, we are going to make it work because we're going to prove you wrong.
We didn't even preserve we actively made fun of the conflict. Like we get a comment of like, that's not going to work, blah, blah, and we would make fun of it, and then every time we beat the shit out of whatever they said we couldn't do, we would actively make jokes about it.
Yeah.
and be like, oh, you can't do that. like like unbridled levels of confidence is part of it, but like actively made fun of and like basically told any sort of criticism like go fuck yourself. Maybe not to the person, right? Because like they're doing it with the best intentions, right? Very few people actually want to see you fail, but their bet's correct, right? Like taking a bet on the fact that the business fails is a pretty good bet because most of them do. And so like yeah, they're right until they're not, and then you have way more money than they do with way more freedom and everything's better. But
which has
in either
been really
case,
cool because
ignore all of the people in your life, and it's going to be really hard because most of them are going to be your parents and your best friends and all of the people that like genuinely care about you.
yeah,
And like they're not doing it out of a place of like fuck you and I hate you. They're doing it out of a place of like I care about you so much and I don't want to see you get hurt.
yeah,
Which is part of the parallelisms to parenting. Because as a parent, I get to watch our kids go through and like do some shit that I'm like, that's gonna fucking hurt. I wouldn't recommend doing that. And then they do it and it hurts and they come cry to me and say, that hurt. And I'm like, yeah, no fucking shit. I told you that. Right. But like,
they have to learn that
they
lesson.
have to learn and it either works or it doesn't. And that's the part that sucks is when like, I don't ever want to be the limiting factor of my kid. Right. And like, I know to some extent, like, I'm accidentally going to limit them on something, but I don't want to be the limiting factor of that, where I tell Leo that he can't do something and now he believes that for the rest of his life and he has to overcome that and prove to himself that, yeah, I actually could do that.
Well, and he surprises me a lot of times. Like there's a lot of like specifically on a jungle gym, like he climbs around on the jungle gym and I'm like, can you do that, buddy? Like I don't know if you can climb that high or
Yeah.
across that whatever. And he does it. And I look at him like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that, man."
Like, they're way more capable than what you think they are, which is a parenting lesson and not the business lesson, but, well, business and babies. So we're on the baby side of this. Um,
But
but
I
like,
think
it's,
that's that like you have to have that belief in yourself
yeah,
when it comes to starting an entrepreneurial
yeah,
journey. Like you are way more capable than you think you are.
yeah,
And so but most of the people in your life are the moms on the playground who don't let their kids do the monkey bars
yeah,
because they're afraid for them.
yeah.
You
Well,
know?
more importantly, like, everybody tells you advice from their perspective and
Right.
their lived experiences, right? Like, nobody's telling you advice from shit that they haven't ever done. And if they are, don't fucking listen to them because they don't know what they're talking about. But like everybody is giving you advice from their lived experience, and so in their experience, getting rid of the security, stepping out on your own, trying to make things happen, right? Like that's something that failed, and they've watched so many people fail, and especially for like our parents, right? Like they grew up in a really shitty fucking economy. Like it was terrible. Shit was broke
Yeah.
all of the time. Everybody was broke. There's a reason that most of the hoarders are ancient because you had to be. You had to save the nail and the piece of paper and the can and the Tupperware. Like I was yesterday, just I finished out a carton of yogurt, right? I'm like, we have enough Tupperwares. But I was cleaning it out, like I was gonna save the fucking thing. And I was like, why do I don't need to save this?
Mm.
Like I'm just gonna recycle this. I rinsed it out and we're gonna recycle it and it's fine. But like I don't need to save this. We have enough. And like that was what I was trained as. It was just like autopilot. Like you clean this out, you wash it, you save that because we're gonna need that.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's interesting to like then that's the perspective that they're coming from is like it's all hard and they don't want to see you fail because like it's hard for you, it's really hard for them
Yeah.
because like especially as a parent like you get to see and feel all of those failures and it sucks, and so they don't want to have to go through that for you, and so they're trying to protect themselves by protecting you is a lot of it.
I agree.
um
I think that's a good place.
yeah, but in either case, big lessons. um do shit yourself and learn the skill. Get Eaton certified because it saves you a bunch of money. Be nice to your people at the supply house. In fact, bribing them and like building a relationship makes you lots of money. Or at least saves you lots of
Get
money.
software.
Get software or decide that you're going to be the cheapest guy in the world, right? If you're going to, like, don't be middle. Either be the cheapest guy in the world and do everything off of like pen and notebook and drive around in like the shittiest fucking vehicle you've got and don't do any repairs, and like you can still make money that way. Or go high end. Don't be middle ground. You're gonna die. Um,
Believe in yourself.
yeah, unbridled confidence. Have the confidence of a 3-year-old. Okay, like that's the goal here. Have the unbridled confidence of a 3-year-old who's never been told no in their life. That's what you need to do. And I think that those are a good point. Also, read the contract, get a lawyer, and all of that stuff.
Have a good relationship with your banker or
Yeah, build a banker
CPA,
relationship.
business coach.
That's something that our business coach always tells us: is there's 5 relationships that you need. You need a banker, you need a CPA, bookkeeper, you need a lawyer, you need a business coach, and
Clearly, we don't listen that well.
I forgot the other one. I know there's still 4. So lawyer, banker, CPA, bookkeeper,
Financial
business
advisor.
coach, financial advisor.
Yeah.
Yep. Like those are the 5 that you need. And with those, you've built a pretty solid team and you're going to be successful.
Yeah. So go kick ass.